This painting is called Solar Lightning 1, and in it you can see the moon, the earth, and the sun. But number one thing you notice is my pyramids that are, of course, on the earth. There's a few, and then flying around the earth there's 4 of them. And if you take a real good look, you'll see one pyramid that's going to the moon right here. And then also you'll see flying around the moon 4 pyramids. And finally the colonization of the moon with 3 pyramids. These are huge, huge buildings. They're 169 stories tall each. And they occupy more than 60,000 people per building. Of course, this is all my imagination that I'm doing all of this. This painting is 16 by 20, and it's also one of the very first ones I did in 1954, and this is just a more defined copy of it. You notice also there's a shadow box, so it's framed at a 2 by 6, and of course the fantastic lighting, and you can see what the lighting's doing to the painting. But the number one thing is that the whole concept is about going to other solar systems, and this is the first step, is colonizing the moon. For example, if we were to go to the moon from Earth, it's 250,000 miles away, and if you're going to travel at 10 miles an hour, that's 240 miles a day. So easily you can see that that can be done in this project in 100 days, so basically around 3 years. The beauty of the whole project is that you bring along everything needed. You bring along your food, your water, you grow plants that provide oxygen. And it's not like when we go to the moon we got to go there in 4 or 5 days and get back in 4 or 5 days, because these astronauts are going to run out of oxygen, they're going to run out of food. So this is something that I'm trying to get out of my mind and into your heads, people. And thank you for watching. Okay, over here, I'd like to show you the little one. And I'm going to change the lighting here. But look at this one. I did this one in 1954. And you can see the similarities. The moon's in the other side, the earth, the sunbeams. And you see the pyramids going in between here. It's a fantastic painting. And I've been wanting to do this ever since I was 4 years old. I'm just finally ready to retire. I'm 64 years old. This is 60 years later that I'm doing this painting. And I just want to try to let people see what's inside my head. Thank you for watching. The world can be a different place. That's 16 paintings. Right now I'm going to talk about painting number 2. This one shows Mars, Venus, Mercury, the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. And of course, I've already blown this painting up, and we are going to be showing that. But if you remember in painting number 1, we had the Earth and the Moon here. So now this is the next step. After colonizing the Earth and the Moon, naturally I want to go to Mars second. That's over here. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. And then eventually get Venus and Mercury involved. If you notice on these paintings, they don't actually have to land, but they do have to have direct sunlight to make them sustain life. So if it took us 15 years to get to Mars, that's not really that long a period of time. These buildings are going to have 60,000 people in them each. There's going to be a half a generation. It's not that long. This whole project is the first step and ensuring that mankind can continue on and exist if while we're gone, the Earth gets blown up, or if there's a war or global warming, they say, or something goes wrong. We really need to take the next step. So if you also take a look here, I don't know if you can see this one, there's a building with light rays going underneath it, going in between Venus and Mercury. And there's also one over here. That's going to take us to our next painting, Solar Lightning 3. Now, the lights have nothing really to do with the paintings. They're just beautiful. We love that. And as a collection, can you imagine somebody buying all 16 paintings and having these displayed someplace instead of just having one? That's our hope, that we can keep these together. And then also, we want to just keep in mind that this is a new way of thinking. Nobody's ever thought this way before. As you go through the paintings, you're going to see exactly how I redirect the light to be called solar lightning. And that's painting number 2 of Solar Lightning, and I'm Greg Zanis. Thank you for watching this hope project of mine. It just, here I am. Just this wall of light. Of course, you're not seeing all of them. It's just something that nobody's ever done before. The shadow boxing, and of course, these little pyramids on top that deflect the light. Thank you very much. Okay, take a look here. I'd like to show you Solar Lightning painting number 3. And in this painting, I'd like to first point out, to show you where we're at, this is our solar system. And it's funny how people name the other 2 solar systems, but they don't name our own. If you notice here, we're building from our solar system and going to the very closest solar system to us. Now, I'm not going to put a name on that, but I'm just saying a very close solar system. These pyramids actually do not land. What they do is they go into orbit around another sun and another star. And of course, there's 3 of them. Over here, you'll see the 3rd star. And if you look really, really close, you'll see a small pyramid going to, it's in the construction process of building the next solar system. So what we're doing is we're slowly planting ourselves on all of these solar systems, and we're going further and further out into outer space. These are decades-long trips. Don't get me wrong. You might be there 3 generations to get there. People keep talking, oh, let's go light speed. Well, my project doesn't really include light speed. It just says, let's get to these other solar systems. Worry about landing on them or not. Worrying about trying to find a perfect planet or not. That's nothing I'm worried about at all. Eventually, we're going to find some other planets. But like I say, there's no rush in all of that. I don't know if I pointed out in any of these paintings, but way up here in the corner is where I've been signing these. And if you notice my signature, it's kind of like a white hole instead of a black hole. I have a red ring around a white circle. I'm just trying to say this is a new form of thinking. You know, I'm trying to say we need to stop thinking about rocket power. That's not the only answer. There are other ways to do this. This could be the biggest hope for all mankind ever in history. Of course, your people have told me all my life, oh, you have megalomania. No. If I had megalomania, I'd try to get rich. I'm trying to help mankind here. In doing so, you know, this would be a humongous effort. Nothing I could do by myself. It would take engineers. It would take so many people to do this, construction workers. And thank you very much. I'm just showing you a little bit of what I'm doing here. And I'm Greg Zanis. Thank you. All right, look at this beautiful wall of art. I've got it all done. It's called Solar Lightning. There's 16 paintings here. I'd like to show you Solar Lightning number 4 down here, which is called the Big Dipper. Now, this is far, far off from number 3 because it incorporates 7 other stars. Also, this particular red, if you see the red beams in between these, you'll also see the hugest accumulation of mankind away from Earth that it's ever even possibly thought of. Nobody thinks of these kind of things. This is sci-fi like you've never seen before. Hopefully someday somebody's going to say, oh hey, that's a pretty good subject for a movie. Well, the props are here for a movie. I don't have a plot, you know, where I don't have 5 characters, 10 characters. But this was also my very first big painting that's going to be in the art show. Also, if you know anything about history, if you look in the Egyptians, they kept what they called ziggurats, or they kept, I don't know, what do you call, horoscope things of the sky, and the Greeks did. They always had the Big Dipper in them. The difference is the Egyptians had them outlined in red lines, just like this. Now, I'm not putting something that's not there into this. I'm not saying at one time we had the Big Dipper and mankind did this project, or I'm not saying that we didn't. But, you know, we always keep talking about, is there life on other planets? If there was life on other planets, some Greg Zanis would have come along at some point and started beaming lights out to outer space, and we would know life existed if it was intelligent life. So yeah, I'm of course to the theory that there is no other life on any other planets, and this project here would take 100 years to accomplish at 10 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour. If you know what I mean by traveling, we're going to be bringing everything needed to carry on life. We're going to bring our own oxygen because we bring plants along. We're going to recycle our own water. We're going to bring our own livestock in order to replant another planet if we find one. And the beauty is, all it needs is the solar lightning. And I'm going to be explaining that in paintings coming up. But as long as we have that connection, when we go into deep space, of aiming light beams to our pyramids that are traveling in between these stars, that we're going to be able to continue on. And I'd like to tell you that I'm way out there. People say I'm way out there. People have been saying that about me ever since I was 4 years old. I'm not kidding. I had so many people telling me, oh, well, that's impossible. But you know what's not impossible is the art show that I'm doing. So now I've presented a catalog of 50 pieces of art. This is just some of it. And I'm not going to be showing all of it, but the catalog will show all of it, and we'll be posting that. And you just keep on watching, and thank you very much for watching this video. And I'm Greg Zanis, inventor of Solar Lightning. Solar Lightning 5 is up here on the wall. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that one. If you take a good look at it, you'll see 4 pyramids on a given planet, of course, Earth being the planet that we're on. And you'll also see 4 other pyramids floating in outer space. But what I'm trying to show you in this particular painting is how the reflected light from the 4 pyramids on Earth goes up into the bellies of the 4 pyramids in outer space. When that's finally done, then they quadrangulate, or the 4 of them start reflecting towards each other, making the mega beam, thus making solar lightning. It's going to be such a powerful force. What we're actually doing is taking 8 pyramids and making one mega beam that stays entrapped all the way around the entire Earth or given planet. Also, if you take a look, you'll see the green side of the planet. That's the daylight side of the planet. And then you'll see the dark brown side of the planet. That's the nighttime side of the planet. What we're doing is we're taking light and we're redirecting it and lighting up those 2 pyramids that are on the dark side of the Earth or the given planet. This means you don't have to have any electricity at all, and it's just a phenomenally simple device. I want to also show you the lights. What I'm going to do is show you how these new lights completely change the painting. Look at that. At one point, they're just floating. You don't see anything. They're just floating in outer space of tinfoil. And then the red lights are extremely beautifully red. And then look at what the green lights are doing to the pyramids. They're making the pyramids green and thus blue. Of course, the white light shows the painting. If you notice, my background is deep, deep purple. That's helping the lights make the red lights stand out. If they were just plain black, this wouldn't work so good. But look at that, they're completely disappeared. And also, this is the first building block to building in outer space. And thank you very much for watching this quick short video. Okay, we're going to talk about solar lightning painting number 6. And in this painting, what I'm trying to show you is how light goes through the pyramid and shoots up to the belly of the next one. If you take a close look here, you'll see, again, a given planet, of course, ours being Earth. This planet here has nothing to do with the painting at all. And I'd also like to show you the colors changing again. Now, this particular painting, this is all tinfoil here, and these are 24 karat gold leaf. And what they're doing is I'm taking the sunlight from the right side of the painting, right here, and I'm bringing it into the belly of the pyramid, and then I'm redirecting it, thus making solar lightning, and shooting it all the way up to the belly of this one here. And also, if you take a good look here, you'll see the light is transfigurating, meaning what I'm doing is I'm redirecting the light back to itself. That way I'm making a huge, huge, powerful beam. This beam would actually be visible to your eye here on Earth or any place else. If you're away in another solar system, you're going to be able to notice this kind of stuff as we start building our building blocks. This painting is showing you exactly what a beam of light hitting itself back and forth towards each other is doing. Now take a look at this red planet here, how it's going to change color slowly. We've got the lights on slower. And it's... okay, there it goes. Watch all the colors changing, and these are fantastic. I might be the first person that's ever actually making oil paintings that are doing something. And also, the frame is 16 by 20 with a 2 by 6, meaning 5.5 inches out. And when light hits the tinfoil up here, it's hitting back down against the painting. So I'm getting a much brighter light than I would if I just had a plain light. Take another look. I put this plexiglass in front of each of these. That's so you don't look directly at the light bulb. And it also is, people say I'm a pyramidal maniac. Well, yeah, I do anything to add another pyramid. It would be awesome if somebody could come and tell me how many pyramids I have in the exhibit, that would be, like I say, that doesn't have much to do with anything. And also, if you notice here in the left-hand top corner is where I'm signing these paintings. What I've done is I've taken a red circle and I put a white hole in it. Instead of a black hole, I pretty much have a white hole. And also there's another planet up here. Like I say, that's got nothing to do with the painting. You'll also notice I have an environment here, meaning this could only be the planet Earth, because any other planets we've studied right now don't have an environment, and except for gases and stuff like that. But you know, like I say, I'm not a scientist. I'm trying to be an inventor. People say, oh, you can't possibly build all that. Well, yeah, absolutely, I cannot possibly build it. But if I had the help of NASA, for example, if I had their help for 10 years and it was sending up rockets all the time, I'd be able to build this project. Not me, but the concept is here. And somebody has to come up with new knowledge. People say, well, how did you ever come up with that? Well, when I was 4 years old, people, you know, I was telling people about this project ever since I was a child. Now, for 60 years, I've been telling people about this project. And what I want to do is be able to express myself through my artwork where nobody else seems to understand me, which is fine with me. Tomorrow, there's a Tribune article coming out, and the reporter said, well, how about if we title it, "And He's Way Out There"? And I said, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. She says, aren't you worried that people are going to make fun of you? No, I am not worried if anybody's going to make fun of me. How can somebody that doesn't know what I'm talking about start to make fun of me? It's what you're saying is, are you prepared to get bullied? I don't care what people think of me now. I'm 64 years old. If this was, 30, 40 years ago, oh, you're a space cadet. No, I am trying to get people to have hope for the future, that something else is out there. And thanks for watching these videos, and thanks for watching this particular video. Like I say, this is number 6 in a series. Thank you. This painting is number 7, and it's also kind of nicknamed Heard's Island. There's an island in the city of Aurora, Illinois that nobody uses. And it's huge. It's almost downtown. The railroad cuts through the middle of it a little bit. But I'd like to show you what's going on in this painting. First thing you see is a tunnel car shooting through the tunnel. See it over here and here? Going past. Of course, that's part of a network that goes all the way to Chicago and all the way out to the West Coast. Next thing you'll notice is these 2 tiny little sailboats coming up to the lock. That's a dam. And what I'm doing is I'm reservoiring the river on this side. So during the daytime, when we're making extra electricity, we're going to pump the river, this river being the Fox River, backwards. And at nighttime, we're going to use hydroelectric. You know how today they're using all this nuclear power and all that? This is the clean power. This power is going to run our cars. It's going to run the building. And it's environmentally friendly. Today, everybody drives around in cars. Well, let's not get into the politics of it. But also, if you take a real good look, you'll also see that this is a 33-story building. You see all the floors lined up here. But the function of this painting is to show the sunlight coming in like this and then shooting it back out to the bellies of the flying pyramids. Redirected sunlight. So what I'm, again, going back to the title of this project, it's called Solar Lightning. If you notice on the opposite side of the river, I have all these earthen berms here, and what I'm doing is taking the extra water and pumping it backwards. I'm going to show you that in the topography model. But before I made the topography model, I had to make this painting so it makes sense. Also, people have been asking me, why are you doing this project? And I have a friend that she says all the time, oh, God told me or Jesus told me, and she makes me think that God is talking to her. Contraire, I don't think anybody hears God's voice audibly. But what I want to say is simple. God is the giver of all knowledge. We all have a moment of inspiration. When you apply for a patent or a patent pending, they want to know when that moment was. You can call it a moment of epiphany or a moment that you got that thought. Well, like I say, I've been wanting to do this ever since I was a youngster. So I really don't have a particular point of origin. So if I apply for a patent, I'm having a lot more trouble with that. So I'd like to also show you again what lighting does. See the yellow here and here? This particular painting, it changes to pink. Watch this. Look at this. Look at the colors here. This is fantastic. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Wouldn't you love to have this painting in your house? I think it's by itself, it's just a phenomenal piece of art. I've never seen artwork for sale anywhere that does something like this. I know I'm onto something. You know, you could be on stage wearing the right color clothes, and it can make it from yellow to pink to black, all depending. This is a very unexplored area, the area of lighting itself. If you just watch all these colors, watch that beautiful blue turn to green here. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Well, anyway, I'm amazed with it. I should be. I'm the guy that made it. And don't get me wrong, made it and created it, those aren't proper terms. God's using my hands to do this. So don't ever consider me a blasphemist. And I thank you very much for watching this quick video. And keep watching. We're going to keep explaining these one at a time to you. So this is what I've always wanted all my life, is to be able to explain what's going on. And thank you very much for watching. Okay, this is going to be painting number 8. And when I was a kid, I took a mirror and I reflected it on a barn out in Dixon, Illinois. I was 14 years old. And what I did is, when the moon was shining at night, I did the same thing, and I was able to make the moon beam on to the barn down the road 1 mile away. So if you take a close look at the painting here, you'll see it in miniature here on the earth, but you see the moonbeam hitting it. And then if you see here, I've just stood a caricature with a tinfoil mirror aiming at the neighbor's barn, and I've got a perfectly square image just to experiment with that solar lightning. That's the first time I've actually experienced solar lightning. But you see here hitting up to the belly of this pyramid here hiding. And then if you also notice, I have several pyramids flying around the moon. And then the yellow beams are just showing sunlight coming out. And then what it did is it started giving me some confidence that, oh my gosh, this stuff really works. And of course, I'd like to show you. Oh.
what lighting does to these paintings. What's that yellow up there? How it completely changes again to rose or pink, and look at the red turns to black here in the background, and then the blue looks so brilliant under the right conditions, meaning the lighting. And look at this beautiful frame, how it glows in the color of the light that I'm using. If I didn't tell you before, the frames, I'm using a crinkly tin foil on it, because when I tried a really smooth one, it does look like polished, or not polished stainless steel. It didn't have a beautiful look. So I found out with crinkly, you're really able to make the lighting work a whole lot better. And like I say, once again, this is my signature up here. And instead of a black hole, it's basically knowledge. You know, I'm trying to teach people something. It's that they don't know. When you go to college today and you're done getting educated, all you've done is learn what somebody else already knew. So I'm trying to convince people about something that they don't know anything about. This is my own way of thinking. But what I'm trying to do is say, there's hope for mankind. If we could get ourselves the NASA program for 10 solid years and start launching every 3 days an equivalent of a space shuttle or the SpaceX program, and start sending these units out into outer space, eventually we'll have enough ballast and bulk to actually start building and building and building. Once we get our first building up, the sky's the limit. We'll just keep building them and building them and building them. And anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Solar Lightning number 8. And thank you very much for watching these videos. Keep watching. We're hoping to do the rest of them. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about Solar Lightning painting number 9. Actually, 9, 10, and 11 are part of a 3-part series. Number 9 here is showing you a new Fox Valley, a new Fox River. If you take a close look here, on the far left of the painting, you'll see North Aurora here, and then that's also up there, Batavia up here, Geneva up here and here. And this is 2 separate topographies. If you see St. Charles here and here, and number 5 is Valley View here and here, and number 6 and 7 are Elgin. If you take a close look here, you'll see the Fox River meandering up and down here, while my Solar Lightning tunnel is perfectly straight. Now this one is not showing any redirected light, but if you take a close look here, you'll see this one's in red. So what I'm doing with that is I'm sending all the sewage from the Fox River and cleaning up the Fox River out west to places like Arizona, where we're actually using it for compost on land. If you notice the blue here, what we're doing is we're taking water from Lake Michigan and using it for our drinking water. So what we're doing is we're changing the way our environment is being abused, and the eventual end, of course, is the Fox River will be clean like it should have been, like we can make any river clean if we quit dumping in it. You know, people tell you, oh, no, Greg, the water's been cleaned. Well, that's why when I was a kid, there were fish in the river, and now there aren't any. They're just bottom crawlers called carps or catfish. There used to be, this used to be the playground for Chicago. They'd come out here, go swimming in the Fox River. They'd go boating in the Fox River, and of course they would eat all the fish in the Fox River. But the big lie is, now Elgin is dumping all their supposedly clean water. If you go down to any dam, you'll see sudsing going on. Well, I hear they want to get rid of the dams because that way we're not going to be able to see the sudsing going on. And anytime I go in the Fox River, people say, "Oh, you're crazy going in that dirty river." Well, because, like I say, our nation has taken its vital resources and just destroyed them by making polluted rivers. I mean, it should be as clean as Lake Michigan. Of course, Lake Michigan isn't getting any cleaner today. When we went to Greece on my honeymoon back in 1974, I looked at those rivers in Greece, and you could see right to the bottom. You could see the fish in them. I read my history books. The Fox River used to be the same way. You could see the fish in the river. You could see right down. There was a limestone bottom on most of the river. Well, yeah, I'm kind of passionate about that. Somebody has to do something to clean our environment, but we just keep taking, and taking. Like I say, this is part of a 3-part series on New Chicago, and this is solar lightning painting number 9. Let me show you what it does when I change the lighting around here. Okay, look. Here we go. You got the white. It's not, oh yeah, look at the blue, it completely disappears when a certain light hits it right here. And then, again, the red is turning it to black. Look at that, it's turned to black. And the greens are greener. It's just a fabulous painting. And, like I say, I am being accused a lot of times of being a philosopher, but I'm just a realist. You know, I've been married 41 years, pure to my wife. People think, oh, you're old school, you know, you're going to church and all that, but no, it's the other way around. We let all these new ways of thinking come into our minds when they don't have a purpose. What I'm doing here has a purpose. The purpose is to go back to a natural earth before we destroy it. I'm not a doomsday theorist, but I also want to thank you very much for watching this video on solar lightning number 9. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my next painting, Solar Lightning number 10. That's part of a 3-part series of New Chicago. This one is like a map, and what I'm going to do is show you how Chicago relates to the suburbs. If you take a look in the middle of the painting, you'll see 4 pyramids right in the water in Chicago. And of course, there's 4 pyramids out here by the Fox River: Elgin, St. Charles, Geneva, and Aurora. And if you look real close, you'll see I've actually written the names on there. First thing I want you to take a look at is there's blue lines, 3 of these coming out of Chicago. What I'm doing is I'm taking the clean water from Lake Michigan, bringing it out to the suburbs, and using it for our drinking water. And then if you also notice, there's red lines here, and here. And what I'm doing with that is I'm taking all the sewage from Chicago and I'm sending it out to Phoenix, Arizona, out to the desert, where they're going to use that muck to dump it on the land and make fertile farming fields out of that. What we're doing now, if you take a look here, this is the Calsac Canal. Chicago, years and years ago, took and reversed that river. So now we get to send all of our garbage and sewage all the way down the Mississippi. We've killed any chance of a city like Memphis of having a clean river by giving them our polluted rivers. You see the Des Plaines River here comes into the Calsac Canal. And these people, we trust these college-educated people to do this to us. Now, this painting goes further. It's the first one that's showing the solar lightning being redirected into the belly of this pyramid here from every one of these 8. and then also being redirected into this belly of this pyramid to from every one of these 8 pyramids on the ground. I'm shooting solar lightning up to these New Jerusalem type cities. Now, another thing this painting is showing is earthen berms. If you take a look here, see this round circle here, here, everywhere. You see these round circles? What I'm doing with the earthen berms, and I don't know if you can imagine like an earthen berm all the way around maybe 60 feet, 80 feet tall, and making a dam, and what we're doing is we're pumping water into those when we have a lot of sunlight during the summer, during non-cloudy days, and then when we need hydroelectric, we reverse those and we have electricity. This entire project that I'm working on here is working on clean energy like never before. If you also take another look at the painting, you'll see a lot more green fields out here. We're going to get tens of thousands of people living in these buildings. And then what we're going to do is convert a lot of that asphalt, and that's pollution by itself. You know, every time you build a road or a house, you're depriving the percolation of water going into the ground when it rains. You know how many times when it rains around here we have flooding in the fields and all that? Well, we are changing the earth. So much about that, but let me just show you what the lighting does to this painting also. Take a look here. And these new lights just have changed my painting so much. Look at the red, of course, is turning to black. The blues and the greens are brilliant down here. Look at this when it's green and blue. How it just completely changes the painting. Wouldn't you want one of these paintings in your home? And like I said earlier, I would love to see somebody buy the entire set of 16 paintings. But if we have to separate them out, we do. And a lot of this project, I don't know if you can hear my heart, it's not so much about making money. It's about hope for mankind. We've got to do something different. We can't just keep doing the same old, same old. You know, I was talking one time to a pastor. He was arguing with me saying, oh, it's fine to everybody come to church and give me all this money and all that. I says, yeah, but what about the earth? I says, you're adding one more day every week of people driving their cars and polluting the earth. And what you're doing is, while you're collecting money, you're slowly destroying this earth. Well, anyway, thank you very much. And that one was solar lightning number 10. I don't know if you can see, but every single one of these are marked right down here by the bottom of the pyramid. That's their signature. Okay, thank you very much. Talk to you about the new Chicago painting, and it's also called Solar Lightning number 11. And this one's the compilation of the last 2 paintings, the new Chicago and the new Fox Valley. If you take a look here, what you'll see immediately is 4 pyramids in Lake Michigan. Now these are much, much larger pyramids that are 169 stories tall. And each of these buildings has 60,000 people in it instead of 5,000 people in it. If you take a look out in the suburbs, you'll see our regular 33-story tall buildings up and down the Fox River again. And if you notice, even beyond that are the West Coast. Here would be LA, and here would be Oregon, and here would be Washington. So once again, I want to show you the canal system. You see the blue water going out and being used as far out as Oregon or any place in between. Denver, Colorado. Also, you'll see the red sewage being taken out to Arizona and dumped in the desert to make land out of it. There's a lot of pyramids, there's a lot of interplay in this painting. Again, there's the solar lightning. So all four of these paintings down here are being shot up to hitting this pyramid here. All four of these are shooting light up to hit this one. And now I take all of these along the Fox River, all 7 of them, and I'm shooting up light, and I'm shooting up light, and then I'm taking the 3 on the west coast, and I'm shooting up light. What I'm doing is I'm making a mega monster beam. You see it here. I'm starting to concentrate the light. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all the light from all the pyramids on Earth, multiplying them up there, and making a mega, mega, mega beam. If you take a look here, you'll see one of the pyramids that's going out further into deep space. And it's a complicated painting, but I also made a bigger one of this one, 4 foot by 6 foot, that I'm going to be displaying. It's much, much more complicated. This one just has a very few cars in it. If you see, I have the dream car going in the tunnels here. People are calling them tunnel cars or underground cars, but that's my concept. And like I say, this is solar lightning number 11. I'd also like to show you what this painting does under the new lighting system that I got. It's fantastic. Wow, wait till you see this. Okay, look at this. Look at these beams here. Look at this. How can anything like that exist? I mean, don't you want this painting for your house? This is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of art. Of course, I liked it so much that I made a big, big one like this. But look what it's doing. Look at how tremendously different the lights are acting in this one. I just get so excited when I see my own artwork. I just can't believe that God gave me the ability to do this. You know, it's just, I'm supposed to pretend that it's all me that did it. But no. Like I say, all knowledge comes from God. And at least I'm putting it in that direction. It's not about me. I'm 64 and a half years old, 65. This isn't so much about money as it is that I want to see something different happen. I want people to say, oh my gosh, things are so different. You know, yesterday I was on the internet looking up solar systems, and I was watching old Star Trek movies, and they say, oh, I'm going to this star, and they call it RS-13, or different ones. I also found on the internet that we don't even call our solar system anything. You know, like I say, I just declare to call it Xanus, you know, I go to the star registry and claim it. Well, you know, when we go to other solar systems, we're going to be calling them other solar systems. So I'm just, like I say, I'm perplexed about that simple problem. And I don't want to make this too long. Thank you for watching this video. Like I say, that was solar lightning number 11. Okay, I'd like to talk to you about my next painting, solar lightning number 12. On this one, it's the first colonization of the moon the way I see it. So what I've done is I've landed 4 pyramids on the moon. And I'm starting the first colony there, the way I see it, of course. If you take a look here, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. And also you'll notice I have fields and fields of mushrooms growing here. They're probably the only plant that will actually grow without oxygen. I'm not a botanist, so I'm not an authority on that. If you also notice, you'll see flying pyramids here, here, and here. And then even more so, you'll see the redirected light now from the moon coming up and helping make this beam. If you notice here out of the painting, there would obviously be another pyramid flying over there. Now, this was the first shot I remember in 1969 when we landed Apollo on the moon, and we looked back to see the Earth back here. I mean, what a spectacular sight. Of course, that's got nothing to do with what I'm doing. If you take a look here now, I finally started putting the tunnel car in, and it goes all the way here and it dead ends because we don't have any other buildings in that other direction as of yet. If you see here, they're coming, and it dead ends here. They don't go anywhere. This is a dead spot here. If you see here, they just go to each other, but they dead end. So this would have to take decades to start building the moon up to have even a destination to go to, let alone and also you notice we have new obstacles. We got these big craters that we got to map ourselves around them. So if you take a look here, I've deliberately not put a crater in the path of the Dream car. And of course, I'm adding the Dream car to this project. And another thing I'd like to show you, of course, is the dramatic lighting difference this makes when I make the lights change color again. Wow, look at this, look at this. Look at this, look at this green here, how it's changing so much. Look at the red are turning to black again. The stars here are picking up different colors. They're turning pink, and they're turning blue, and they're turning purple and green. And if you notice this time, even my signature is picking up all the colors of the light. The box itself is glowing in orange or whatever color the lights happen to be on. I'd like to show you one more thing. I'd like to show you what I'm wearing here and how it's changing. Look at the red here turning to black. I just can't imagine we haven't had a dance company or something come up and start using this simple technology to do something different with. And thank you very much for watching. I'd like to show you Solar Lightning number 13. This one's a 169-story tall building parked out in Lake Michigan. And also, I'd like to show you the perspective of how that works with some of the other buildings. If you take a look at this painting, you see these huge monster building. And I placed it next to the Sears Tower to show what kind of monster building this would be. If you take a look here, you'll also see the little 33-story tall pyramid building. And if you take a better look, you'll see it's actually out in Lake Michigan. It also has light coming in from the sun and going back out and redirecting. And then inside the hot belly of the pyramid, you'll see light triangulating. So it stays in there trapped until we send it back out through the floors. So see these red beams here? That's sending it back out. Another part of this painting is you'll see 10 layers of glass going back and forth here. What I've got is one-way glass that's showing how I'm trapping this. And in painting number 13, I've also made a full-size model in the basement of this one. And also, I'd like to show you what it does. This is one of the more spectacular ones when light starts changing. Look at that belly going from red to black. Oh my gosh, isn't that fantastic? Look at the yellow, how it changes to orange. And I just love this painting, like I say, for the painting itself. But also, this is, like I say, one of the biggest buildings that anybody's ever thought of in the world. As we build slender, tall skyscrapers, they lose their strength. A pyramid, if you know, in Egypt, is several thousand years old, and it just withstood the test of time. And I'd like to thank you very much for looking at this painting.
I say, Solar Lightning number 13. Right, we're getting there. Show you Solar Lightning number 14 painting. And this is an assembly line where I'm using ground molds to make all the units and then pushing them down to the unfinished pyramids over here. Take a look. And what you see is something very different. I'm using lava and or glass to make these. Ideally, the wedges would be poured out of glass. That's something that's going to last centuries. If you take a look here, you'll see the different sizes. Over here you see a 5-roomer, a 2-roomer, a 3-roomer, a 6-roomer, a 4-roomer, a 6-roomer, a 2-roomer, a 3-roomer. These are ground molds. These are holes in the ground. And if you notice, I made all of these 3-roomers, but what I'm doing is I'm pushing them down the assembly line before I make the tunnel. I use the tracking. You notice the top of this one isn't finished, and this one's less finished and less finished. Now you can actually see in the atrium of this one. And you could look at this one, it's only 5 stories tall. It's going to be a 33-story building. Also, you notice here, I have the Fox River again, or any given river. Another thing about this painting is, once again, I'm using 24 karat gold actually on the painting. This is gold leaf that I got when I was a child. I saw on the internet that this stuff's going for a fortune. So the painting itself has a value already, not very much, but in gold leaf. But that's not what we're trying to sell here. We're trying to show this would not be a meandering circle here. It would be a straight line going out straight. The cars don't really travel well when they're bending a curve. If you notice one of my earlier videos, you'll see I have a tunnel car where I'm blasting the car through a tunnel. And when I did that model, first thing I did was I made the car go around and around the tunnel, and then I changed to a faster motor, made the car go faster. Then I started using a leaf blower and made the car go even faster. But at that point I realized the car was coming up against a headwind. So the little tunnel car wasn't maxing itself out. Then when I put a switch track in, so I'm actually pushing air and pulling air from the car, it's going faster and faster and faster all the time. Where this is what our country needs. We need a car that goes 600 miles an hour. And that way, instead of going to the airport, it'll bring you straight home to your house. And like I say, I'd like to thank you very much for, letting me just express what's in my mind here. And I'd like to change the colors on this one too. So you can see what I'm doing here. Here we go. Wow, look at this again. Look at the red. Look at the red. At one point it's glowing red, and then it turns to black again. And just a fantastic play of lighting here. I'm just so glad that my son found me these light bulbs just recently. I had these small ones in there, but putting these 3 waters in here has really, really dramatically changed the paintings. I forgot to show you here, this is the core of the earth going down to lava down here. I'm just using that to heat up the silica sand. The silica sand is what I'm using actually to build these pyramid wedges with. Wedges is a nickname that I use for the components of the building. Thank you very much for watching more on Solar Lightning painting number 14. And just to let you know, all of these are done on a hardboard. Every one of these are oil paintings. My later paintings became acrylic, but I love oil because it's got a beautiful glisten or glow to it. Thank you very much. Come on over, I'd like to show you painting Solar Lightning number 15. This would change everything. It's a solar bungee cord, a bungee cord. And if you take a look here, you'll see several
pyramids on the earth, and take a look at the first one here, what I'm doing is I'm lowering a bungee cord from a flying pyramid, and I'm hooking a wedge unit, and I'm going to pull that out of orbit as the pyramid goes to the left, the earth turns to the right. It's going to make it so it just expands itself here. See how it's lifted off here? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up and then pull it up further and then let go of it and catch it on the orbit behind there. Once we have the ballast of our first large flying pyramid in outer space, of course that would have to be done with rocket power. We'd have to take all these units up on the space shuttle or something equivalent, X rockets or whatever. Once we have our first one, that's going to change mankind forever. If people gave me control, and I'm not a control freak, but if people gave me control of the space program for 10 years, I'd be able to accomplish this, because as the boss, I'd be able to get people to do what I want them to do, and it's a change of thinking. After that, we'll never need rocket power again. We'll start building these buildings so fast in outer space that it'll be mind-boggling. People will be volunteering to go out into these projects. I know they would be. People want to do something different. They want to get away from here. Of course, I'm not trying to be an anarchist, but if you live in outer space, the very first thing you don't have to do is pay property tax. I'm sick and tired of that. Okay, let's not get political. So, anyway, take a look here. You'll see black and gray and lighter gray. And let me change the color to the color changing lights again. Let's see here. Okay. This one isn't as dramatic as some of the other ones, but the tinfoil stands out beautifully in it. And of course you see the earth and the clouds, and actually I'm over Africa here, and I'm over Greece, and I'm over Russia, so this isn't the most popular point of view of Earth, but it also shows an all-daylight Earth, and it doesn't show any of the North or South Pole, so it's not actually correct. The buildings don't have as many layers in them as they should, but I just did that as an artist just to make it simpler. They don't show the bellies. And I thank you very much for watching Solar Lightning painting number 15 in the series of 16. Okay, I'd like to show you painting number 16 in the Solar Lightning series, and this is the tunnel car standing over a water trough or a water canal. Take a look here. You'll see the dream car. And when you look at the dream car, you also notice immediately that it has wheels going down right here, and then wheels going to the sides. But also it has a set of wheels going up against the tunnel itself. And if you notice in this painting, I show a positive and a negative electrode, meaning the car would be being charged up when it's in the tunnel system. Take a look below here. You see water in here because it's blue colored. And this can be an underground car, it can be a tunnel car, it could be above the ground, wherever necessary to try to keep it kind of level when it's going hundreds of miles an hour. And take a look at the red around it. That would be the color of the light coming up through the bottom, the neon. And if you notice, this car has an extremely wide wheel stand in it. So when it's out of the tunnel, it's less likely to tip over. You also notice I've made the car in gold banding. It has a driver. It also has two headlights here. And it also has two beams up here that help direct the car and let you know that that's the front of the car coming at you. It also has a wraparound bumper here all the way around it that would be very much like a bumper car at a bumper car place where you could touch other cars, you could hit other people, and it's just like a pre-inflated tire. It just kind of bounce them away. This car is also the safety car. I call it a road cage because you have 2 feet of crumple zone on the sides, on both sides. This car can either be a 1-seater or a 2-seater, depending on what you want to do as a design. If you also notice, it's got concrete pylons on both sides. That's the basic structure. And then the tunnel itself would be prefabricated, so it would be just this part of concrete. And then there'd be glass here and here, so the occupant of the car, when he's not underground, can see out and see where he's going. This is a very, very sturdy tunnel system. I envision these cars going over 600 miles an hour, especially on long runs like from Illinois to Denver or from Illinois to Phoenix. Going 600 miles an hour, just you'd speed up to there in 15 minutes and you'd stay at that speed. And my entire project was originally called the Dream Car Project. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, go to www.youtube.com/thedreamcar and keep up with us and become a subscriber. And like I say, this is the last one in the series of 16 paintings. Of course, I've got them individually for sale, but if somebody in the 30-day period wants to buy the entire set, he gets first rights at that. And I do have a set price at that. And of course, if anybody wants to, if there's a second person that wants to buy them, there'll be a little bit of a bidding war. That's not a problem with me. Let me show you what this painting does under the light changing again. Let's see here. Wow, look at this. Look at the red turns to black and then it turns to brilliant red like no other. It actually looks like it's on fire, doesn't it? Because it's a smaller red. And these beams here have nothing to do with it. It's just glorifying the painting. So it's just something I felt like adding in there. They're not functional. They're not part of the solar lightning. This car is being run by the pyramid buildings, collecting electricity and delivering electricity to the tunnel car system. There'll be enough electricity where I can light the tunnel itself, so you're not in a dark tunnel, you're traveling more than just your headlights on. You're actually looking way down the distance and seeing this beautiful red beam that you're going to be heading into. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you watch all of these videos one at a time here. And just like I say, I'm excited about getting to do my debut art show. First one ever for me. And I just, like I say, I'm just so happy that finally, after 60 years, I can have my final dream come true. That's just doing this project, going out publicly with it. Thank you very, very, very much.